the cold. Let me keep you close, safe and warm. I'll be your shelter. When the storms of life assault you, and all the world is set against you, there's a place that you can run to. Oh, just feel you can make it, and feel the heart is breaking. You should know I'll be your shelter from the storm. Come on, say hello. Let me know where you're signing on from. Just waiting for a few more people to show up. Hey, hey. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Facebook. YouTube. Hi, Tanya. How are you? Come into the place where I can keep you safe in my heart. I'll be your shelter. When the storm of life has sought you. Yeah, thank you, Gina. Thank you. There's a place that you can Miami, Rio de Janeiro. Oh, I want to come there. Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Ohio. I'll be your shelter from the storm. I'm good. Shelter. Be a shelter. Hey, yeah. Coming. Hey, Lisa, how are you? I did have a great birthday. Hey, how's Amor? I've been trying to reach her. She doesn't answer her phone. Where are you? Are you in Illinois or in Barbados? Okay, signing on from Nigeria. Thank you for this. You like the song, huh? From Ghana. There's a place that you can run to. Oh, when your heart is breaking, you should know I'll be your shelter from the storm. The artist is me. This can be found on iTunes. It's called Come Let Us Worship. It's a project I did of just love duets to the Lord with a dear friend of mine, Charles Laster, out of Detroit, Michigan. So if you're enjoying the song, you can get it there, or you can log on to my website at michellehammond.com. Go to the resources. It's called Shelter. Be a shelter, yes. Yep, so we did like this whole album of just love worship songs, and so that's one of the songs I mean. Thank you. I am still getting birthday wishes, presents, calls, texts, and I'm telling you, I appreciate it so much, and it just really refreshed in me the whole, just a bigger understanding of how important relationships are. What a support system that they can be to you, especially if you're single or if you're a lonely married person, because, you know, singles always talk about being lonely. But the truth of the matter is there are a lot of lonely married people as well. And so we really have to find solace, not only in the Lord, but in our support system. And I really encourage everyone to just really have healthy platonic relationships, because they will carry you through when your mate isn't paying attention and when there's no one that you're dating in your life. You know, these are the times when that strong support system of friends comes in handy and keeps you going forward. There's a reason that God did create 2 by 2. How best can we access? Okay, you can access most of my music, pretty much all of my music, on my website. Right, Tega? MichelleHammond.com. There literally is, you can download all the music from there. I have several projects. There's 2 solo projects. There's the project with Charles, which is all love song worship kind of things. And then all my music from hey, Lainey, how are you? I've been trying to call you. I have some gossip for you. Oh, I said that on live, didn't I? Not gossip in that sense, not negative, but just some good news about something that you probably don't know about. So you need to answer your phone, dude. Answer your phone. Anyway, yeah, so you can get all my music on my website. It's also on iTunes. You can get it there, but it's just easier to just go to my website and download everything there. You can pick which songs you like and download them there. So yeah, there's about 4 or 5 CDs. Well, 3 from Relevance by itself: Easter, Christmas, and a worship CD. And we are working on some new music that is amazing. And you know what else I'm really excited about? Mother Fletcher, who is the oldest survivor of the Black Wall Street Massacre. She's 107 years old. Her brother is 100 years old. They are visiting Ghana. They come at the end of the week. And I've written a special song called Come Home that I will be singing at a ceremony for them. And I'm so excited about that. Can you imagine? She is 107. Her brother is 100. And I think they're bringing like 15 family members with them. And I'm like, whoa, I mean, things this woman has seen, the things that she remembers. And one of her dreams was to come to Africa, and she is coming. And she's going to meet the president, and they're going to have amazing ceremonies for her. And I just feel privileged to be a part of that, which, hey, you guys can all be a part of the reunion in Africa. I've just started MMH tours. So you can literally go to my website if you are interested in Come Home with Michelle, which is a journey to Ghana, visiting me. I will be hanging out with you either 7 days or 10 days, whichever package you pick. We're going to do not just the sightseeing thing, but really have a time of just reflecting spiritually on who we are, reconnecting with our identity, and, working through some of that stuff while you're here. I'm going to be here not just as your tour guide, but as your coach the entire time. So I'm really looking forward to people signing up and doing that and spending time with me here. And so all of that to say, getting back to why I wanted to talk with you today is really about just the importance of relationships. I get a lot of mail. I get a lot of DMs. I get a lot of emails. And I see something that is common across the board, to be perfectly honest. I get a lot of emails about how to deal with loneliness. I get a lot of emails about feeling the pressure from family and friends, because I'm not married yet. And it's really important that you not allow yourself, and this is a decision that you have to make. It's not an emotion. It starts with your decision. Your emotions are going to obey your decision, okay? Let's be very clear about that. When it comes to how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our relational status, those things can't drive us and drive our emotions and help us land in a pit of depression. We have to make some decisions about what our mindset is going to be when people are asking us those questions that seem to press all the wrong buttons in us. When are you getting married, and what's wrong with you, and are you being too picky, and all the questions. And talk to me. I want you to talk to me. Let's have a dialogue about this tonight. How you feel about where you are in life. What pressure do you feel? And why do you feel that way? What's driving the feeling of lack of affirmation, lack of validation, lack of that you're okay if you're still alone, no matter what your age is. I think that it's very, very important for you to get to a place. Paul said, I've learned in whatsoever state I'm in to be content. And I believe that he made that statement because he knew who he trusted in the most. He knew and understood that there was a purpose for the season he was in, and he was going to totally employ that season, and not allow himself to be disgruntled because it wasn't where he wanted to be. I mean, he was in jail. I think that a lot of singles feel like they're in jail, but so do a lot of married people. If they're in the wrong marriage, they feel like they're in bondage. I love you too. They feel like they're in bondage. And the thing that I want you to know is you're not bound in your situation. There are always options. Do you know that there are always options? If you hate your job, you got options. You can work that job, or you can find something else to do with yourself. There's always an option. Which option will you choose, and what will you do to gain that option that you're now focused on? Becomes the question. So someone said, yeah, I've been dealing with loneliness. Talk to me a little bit more about that. Why do you feel lonely? What goes on in your life? This Saturday I had a paint and sip party. It was a lot of fun. We said we were trying to, what were we aiming for? 8 people. We ended up with about 20 people showing up. Some painted, some didn't. They all sat around and just enjoyed the company of one another. And it was such a fulfilling day, and I realized how wealthy I felt in that moment because of my friendships. Here was everyone, laughing, talking, having a great time, and connecting with people they hadn't met before and really getting into them. I got notes afterwards. Hey, I met so and so, and they're really nice. I'd like to see them again or get to know them better. And I thought, wow, someone commented and said, you have really amazing friends. And I said, yes, I do. Some people say, how do you find good friends? Be a good friend. Be a good friend, and you will have good friends. That's how we get good friends. Wealth in the moment is the gift. Yes, that's very, very true. Someone says, the pressure I experience is often from others who don't embrace the biblical contentment I've come to know in my singleness. It's true. Well, everyone's not going to get it, right? We are on different levels in our Christian walk. Some people are just coming in. They're finding the water cold. They're trying to learn how to navigate at the shallow end of the pool of Christianity. Some people have waded in a little deeper, and some people are swimming and floating. And so you've got to know where you are, where you fit, where they are, and not take it. Don't personalize their journey that they're trying to superimpose on you. I've said it often on here that we don't see life as it is. We see it as we are. So if I'm a lonely person and I see you, another single person, I'm going to project my loneliness onto you. I'm going to, in my mind, I don't see you being able to not be lonely as a single person because I'm lonely. You get it? So it's the essence of where we are. And it really starts with us building ourselves up. That there's a spiritual self-care that you have to do so that when people come at you with opinions and questions that question who you are, where you are, why you are where you are, you're standing firm. Jesus went through that. They were always bullying him about who he was. The enemy always strikes at the core of your identity because he knows if he can unravel your identity, he can get you to compromise and fall for anything. So it's really, really important to really have a sound mindset about who you are, how you're viewing your life, what you understand about the life that God has given you and the life that you've created for yourself, because it's a twofold thing. You're now in partnership with God. God is not inflicting life on you in a certain way. Our choices, and I say it often, if you're single by choice. No, Michelle, I'm not. Somebody liked you and you didn't like them the way they liked you. So you made a choice. You could have been with somebody. You just didn't want to be with that person. So we make choices every day that we live with. And we forget that we made those choices because we feel like we're being victimized by where we are in the present time. So it's really, really important for you to stop and analyze, who am I? Who am I not? Because that's important to know. Why am I here? What do I want out of life? And if you want a relationship, why do I want a relationship? What do I want that relationship to look like? Not what I want the man to look like, what I want the relationship to look like. Okay. Someone says, I no longer idolize marriage, and it's so liberating. It is true, because if you are in a place where you're gasping for air and you've just got to do this thing, it's become an idol. And, God's not going to share his glory with another. So, anything that you pursue because it's pursuing you. I mean, the desire, you don't have the desire anymore. The desire has you. It's holding you captive. You are now idolizing it. That's a horrible place to be. It leads to depression, frustration, apathy. It'll even pull some folks out of God because they'll feel like he's not moving fast enough. So they go off, seeking the solutions to their issues. Yeah. So we've got to know who we are. Someone said, I'm not necessarily uncomfortable, but have been through multiple marriages. Now I'm really in a good place and a good male person to talk to have a dialogue. That's really good. It's important to have members of the opposite sex as friends. When we're living out the assignment God has given us, our focus is no longer on a ring, but rather the peace that comes from knowing we're in the will of God. As we walk, God can usher in our mate. Exactly right, CB. You've got it. You are totally on point there. And thank you, Marianne. Thank you so much. Oh, she's in the Philippines. There's someone in my life, but we're just trying to put a friendship, sometimes trying to put the cart before the horse. Yes, exactly. So I am Charlie. It is so important. And that's why you've got to settle these questions first, so that when you meet someone, you take the time to be friends. Someone says, I see a lot of Christian women not getting married, worldly women finding mates before the Christian women. Also, I see pastors and Christian men getting with secular women. Well, probably a lot of reasons for that. But let us not look at what other people are doing, because it always looks good on paper, but we don't know the rest of the book. We don't know what's under the cover. We don't know what comes along with that when we're talking about what other people are doing. Comparison. I was talking about this on Sunday, that comparison. Oh, I needed some light. Yes, that helps. Is it too light? Is it too bright? Let's take it down a notch. Yeah, there we go. I was talking about this on Sunday, that we tend to dress up certain words so that they're more acceptable. So, comparison sounds nicer than covetousness or envy. And what happens when we see what other people so-called have? We don't know how they got it. We don't know the price they paid for it. We don't know if they're really happy now. We're just looking at the pictures on Instagram or whatever, and it all looks good. And then underneath it is a whole other story going on. Okay. So what I want you to know is, don't go by that. And don't even factor them into the equation of what makes you happy or what makes you upset. You have got to decide what you want your life to look like, what it takes to get it to look that way, and know that that's not reliant on one person in your life. Okay. Yes. And social media actually has made it really bad when it comes to comparing ourselves to others, because everybody looks good on their page, right? But you don't know. I mean, okay, I did like these birthday pictures, but But the work, I mean, it looks fabulous, right? All those pictures look fabulous, but do you know the work that went into that moment that you got to see that picture? That moment cost me, like, days of preparation, hours of preparation. And I moaned and groaned and complained the whole time. I'm not going to lie. I gave Tega a hard time. It was her idea and concept, and it ended up beautiful. But I'm not saying everything was smooth sailing on that. And so the same thing happens in relationships. We look at people's relationships and we go, I want that. And don't say that, because you don't know what comes with that package. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You just see what they're allowing you to see. And most people, even when they're living in hell in their home, like to present heaven to you. They want you to think that they're in a really good place. So yeah, it's for some reason there are all these variables that seem unfair. But I'm just going to get back to, what about you? Where are you in life? What do you want? Hey, Mark, how are you? Good to see you. Okay, Marianne says she's a single mom with 2 kids, for 16 years, single because I found contentment rested my case on my marriage, finding a partner. I'm in constant preparation to be like Ruth, that one day Boaz will find me. I've learned how to be happy where I am. Others ask me to date. I simply tell them I'm waiting on God to send me the right one. Okay, Patricia, let's talk about that. How will you know it's the right one if you don't go out on the date? You're saying you're waiting for God. That kind of reminds me of this story of this guy. It was raining, there was a flood, and he was on top of the house, and he kept saying, oh, God save me, God save me. And some people came by in a boat and said, hop in. And he said, nope, I'm waiting on God to save me. And then a helicopter came and lowered a rope and said, hang on, we can get you out of here. And they said, nope, I'm waiting for God to save me. And then the person died, and they went to heaven, and they said, God, why didn't you save me? And God said, I sent the helicopter and I sent the boat, and you didn't get on. So here's the thing about dating. Let's back up. I'm glad you brought this up, because this is really important. I always say dating is not for mating, it's for collecting data. Okay. And someone says something, wow, Boaz cannot find if you haven't been taught by Naomi. Well, that's true too. You got to have a Naomi in your life, got to have an Elizabeth in your life to birth things, got to have a Naomi to get you from point A to point Z. But this is a point that I want to bring. Patricia, when these guys, approach you, you get to master the date. And the date is not what we think of normally. To me, a date is not intimacy. A date is me sharing coffee or a meal or an activity and learning more about who you are. And that is without any intimacy. I am befriending you. I am getting to know you to see if I even like you, to consider you for courtship. Okay. Yes, it is true. If a man approaches you, for the most part, they are interested in you. But women, I want you to know that you get to master how the relationship goes. Just because they invite you out does not mean that you are, destined to marry that person. It does not mean that you're obligated to kiss them, fondle them, get intimate, decide to be their girlfriend, boyfriend. It just means you're going out to get to know one another. Because how can you know who is for you? I mean, God probably is not going to come down and go, oh, this is the one, when the man walks into the room. There are some practical steps where we get to learn, know, and discern if this person is right for you to consider for courtship. Which leads me to bringing this up, because that was a really good segue, Patricia. Thank you for sharing with me. But I just want to challenge you a little bit on that, to open up, and get to know some people, because, you have to be friends. You have to be friends before you can decide if this person is a potential mate. It starts from being platonic before it moves to partner. in a healthy relationship. Okay. So I'm going to be your Naomi and tell you that you need to, be a little more open. Epitha. Go out. There's no obligation. There's no obligation. You're just going to go out and see what the person is like. You might be surprised. Now, I'm bringing that up because this is exactly why I created Love You. It's a master class. It is a 3-month program that I have. It's 60 lessons, 6 modules, 10 lessons each. It comes with a workbook. Every 2 weeks, I come on and follow up with a live Q&A master class based on the material that you learned in the 2 weeks. There's also access to a community of people who are studying what you're studying. And oh, thank you for that badge. Thank you. Someone did a badge for me. Thank you. It's still my birthday. It's still my birthday. If you want to give, you could go ahead and give and bless me. There are a couple things I need for my ministry. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Dina, for that sticker. Thank you so much. As you can see in the chat, Love You Masterclass, the new semester starts at the end of September. I've pushed it back because I needed to get some other things done, but we've pushed it back to the end of September. I want you to register for that class. Why do I want you to register for that class? Because I take you on a journey of learning. The Bible says, my people err for lack of knowledge. We study for every other career in life except the career of relationships, which is our most important relationship, which is our most important career. And it affects everything else in your life. When your heart is out of whack, your mind is out of whack, you can't function, you can't excel at work, you can't, you mess up financially and everything else. So all the details for this class is found on my website. If you go to michellehammond.com, it is there. And some people wrote me and said, I can't make the financial commitment. I can't make the time commitment. So I've actually developed an abbreviated course that's a year subscription called Love Capsules, where you will get excerpts from the master class. But if you want the full 411, is that what you say? Is it the 411? If you want the full thing, the intensive is for you. But Love Capsules is also available, and it's a good program. It is 3 capsules a week you will get in your email with a short lesson, and 3 reflection questions for you to ponder for the week. So it's just enough to nourish your soul and inform your heart on how to navigate life, love, and happiness. So I want you to consider taking that class, because there are things that you need to know. For everything in life, there are keys, there are principles that you have to know in order to navigate properly to get the result you want. Love doesn't just happen. Life doesn't just happen. Something happens that gets you to the next level, okay? So it's really important for you to be informed. My people err for lack of knowledge. And I'm sorry, the church is, I hate to say it, but the church is responsible for a lot of ignorance when it comes to relationships, because they don't really talk to you about it. They don't give you practical things that you can do to get from point A to point Z. You go to church, you have an emotional experience, you feel good at the moment, but how do you use that information once you leave church? So Love You Masterclass is based on biblical principles, but gives you practical application and understanding so that you are equipped to have the relationship, to get the relationship that you want. I'm passionate about this. I'm really passionate about it, because I see too many people floundering in this area. I've done so much research over the years. If you don't know who I am and you just logged on, I'm Michelle McKinney Hammond. I am a best-selling author. I'm an international speaker, but most of all, I am a relationship expert. And I have helped a lot of people find the love they've been looking for and also get the life that they want. And I'm always encouraging people not to put the cart before the horse, to get into a purposeful life, a life where you enjoy your life first so that you're whole, so that you're not making choices of your life partner out of desperation, looking for someone to complete you. You know, Tom Cruise lied in that movie. Nobody can complete you but God and the Holy Ghost. I'm just going to tell you now. But a person can add to your life in such a way that they cause you to flourish in your purpose. And so what we're looking for when we talk about soulmates is we're looking for someone who's good for our soul and definitely is a catalyst towards our destiny. So it's really, really important. I always say that God is actually your soulmate because he breathed into man the breath of life and he became a living soul. Everything else is an add-on, okay? The basis of your life has to be that strong connection, that deep intimacy that you have with your Abba Father God that helps you to stabilize, to be healthy, whole, content in whatsoever state you're in, so that you're able to make the right decisions and the right choices of who is allowed into your life, who has access to your heart, and who can be trusted with the awesome job of being your mate. Do you know your job description as a mate? Do you know what they're supposed to look like in your life? Do you know what love is? These are all things that I'm covering in Love You, because a lot of us don't even know what we're looking for. I tell the story of I sent Tega to go find something for me one day, and she didn't know what she was looking for, so she couldn't find it. I knew what I was looking for, so I went to the same spot and immediately put my hand on it. And I think that a lot of us don't even know what we're looking for when it comes to love, and that is why we have such a hard time finding it. We have a lot of magical thinking, a lot of unrealistic expectations. We don't know what standards we actually should have. Yes, someone just said that. Setting standards and sticking to them should be in the back of your mind while dating, vetting, aka courting. If you feel by a variety of reasons this person isn't for you, just simply refrain from moving forward with a more intimate relationship. Keep God at the head, stay in prayer with all of it, and be led by the Spirit. My opinion only. Well, Gina, that's a great opinion. Okay. Because you're right on point with that. When we have standards, and standards are different from expectations, I teach you about that in the class. What are realistic expectations, which are actually standards? Okay. Also just knowing what you want your relationship to look like. What do you value? I asked someone this the other day. They were all excited about someone they were dating. So I said, well, what do you like about them? They went, and I said, well, you're taking too long to answer. You don't have a list of ready things of what you like about this person. This is basic. This is 101. Okay. So I said, okay, what do you value? What's important to you for the rest of your life? What things have to be in place in your life? Is it peace? Is it financial security? What is it? What are your top 5 values? Again, the person did not know. I said, well, do you know what their values are? She didn't know. So I said, okay. Huh? What do you have in common? Okay, this is just basic stuff. What do you have in common? She didn't know. So I don't know what they've been doing, actually. I'm scared to think about what they've been doing. And see, this is why intimacy before knowledge is dangerous, because it clouds the issue. There's a reason why they call it making love, because it feels like you're creating love, but you're not. You're creating a smoke screen that hides the facts that you need to be seeing very clearly before you make a decision about someone. So all I'm saying is that you need to know who you are. You need to know what's important to you very clearly, your negotiables, your non-negotiables. And then these are conversations. That's the interview. Okay. Now, I'm not big on you interviewing immediately. I like gradual interviews. I like you to look more and observe more. Okay. Because people show you what's important to them. Just as they're just flowing in conversation, doing what they're doing, you can find out a lot more. Sometimes the interview, they just give you, answers that they think you want to hear. But when you're observing, it's very important to observe. Observe how they treat the waiter when you go out to eat. Observe how, they treat that person that cuts them off in traffic. Observe what they talk about the most. All of these things are clues to who they are and what's important to them. And if you fit, it's not just a matter of do they fit into your life? Do you fit into theirs? Okay. What are you bringing to the party of their life? Are you in sync about the things that are important, so that you can enjoy them perpetually? If you're putting on a front just to get somebody, at some point you're going to have to deal with the stuff that's important to them, deal with the things that they enjoy. And if you don't enjoy them, you've set yourself up for a life of misery. So what do you have in common with that person? What do you like about that person? Give me a list. Give me 10 things. Quick. And it can't be just, I like the fact that they're into me. That's not enough. A mass murderer could be into you. Is that who you want to be with? A homeless person could be into you. Okay. Someone who has no relationship skills could be into you. What is it exactly that sparks your interest in this person? What is it about them that makes you a better you? Or do they? So all of these things are things that you have to consider. And we go over these things in the Love You Masterclass. I am really pushing it. We've had 2 semesters so far. The first group took it again because they said, "Oh, it was so deep, child. I needed to review and work through it again." So once you're in it, you are in it perpetually. You can redo the course as many times as you want. The community is a strong community. They really are transparent and share with one another and hold each other accountable, which is great. I've been watching this community flourish of, people who really care about one another because they're all walking the same path. And so there's a great support system there so that no one feels alone in the things that they're navigating through. So I highly suggest checking it out. The Love You Masterclass was created for you. I created it because of all the questions I get. So everything that I've ever been asked, I've poured into this class. I've taken a couple of classes just to see the content, and there hasn't been much there. My friends have said that I've really undersold the program and I'm selling it too cheaply. But I priced it the way I did because I wanted people to be able to have access to the class. It is discounted. It may go up later. So, take the class now. Any questions? Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask before I sign off? But I just wanted to come on and just encourage you. For me, this weekend was very special. For all my friends who called and wrote and texted, I just felt so blessed to have such a community, such a strong network of support, people who have my back, who are there for me. As a single person, it's important. As a married person, it's important. No one person can fill all the voids in your heart. No one person can be your absolute fulfillment and just fill every need. God has wired us to fail one another just slightly because he's not going to share his glory with another. Have I found love in my life? I have love in my life consistently. Yes. You see, and that's the thing. Why is it if I'm single, I don't have love in my life? I have a lot. I'm overflowing in love. Okay. To be perfectly honest, I am loved. I feel loved every day, not just by God, but by my support system, by my friends. I have a healthy network of male and female friends that are all protective and loving and wonderful. No, men can join the class as well. We're all there learning together. It's not just a women's class. So when we say, do we have love in our life? Everyone, single or married, should be able to answer that question a resounding yes. Okay. Also know that I am going to have an upcoming free masterclass in the weeks to come. So if you want to be in on that, please go to my website at michellehammond.com and sign up to be on the mailing list so that you don't miss when that happens. Oh, thank you, Queen. God bless you. A special partner. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, a special partner. No, I'm not dating anyone right now. And actually, it's kind of bad to say, but I don't know where I would put someone right now in my life. It's very busy and very full. And I would really have to struggle to be like, add the whole dating thing to my life. I got to pray about that. I really need to probably change my attitude, but I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. I'm busy and my life is full of love. So I'm sure that when it's time, God will create that void in my heart and then place that person there. And hopefully I will have the sense to recognize, receive, and embrace that person. Because, I do have some say about it as well, right? We all do. Sometimes we've walked past really great opportunities because we just weren't ready for it. So that's the other part of it. When we get into this season of saying, I want a mate, are you ready? Are you ready to do the work? Are you ready to embrace someone else in your life and understand and know what that means? Because love isn't just about what you get, it's about what you give. What are you saying, Tega? Oh, okay. So just want to encourage you. It's not over till the fat lady sings. It really isn't. So I have several books that if you haven't read any of my books before, that you should get. What to Do Until Love Finds You, Secrets of an Irresistible Woman, How to Be Found by the Man You've Been Looking For. If Men Are Like Buses, Then How Do I Catch One? If you're struggling with heartbreak or the real deal on overcoming heartbreak, Release the Pain, Embrace the Joy. All of these books are on Amazon and you can get them, or you can go to my website, and if you click on the book you want, it'll take you to a link to purchase that book. But all of these things that I have created are resources for you to gain the knowledge you need to just be sound in your thinking and healthy in your heart, okay? No, I am not married. God spoke to me about that guy and said no. And I said, okay. And I let it go. And I've been fine. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed The Power of Being a Woman. We'll probably be doing another book club on that early part of next year. I also have some novels that are really good. The Last 10% and Playing God. You will enjoy those. I have a devotional package for those on my website, so you'll get a little workbooks because they're, even though it's entertainment, of course, I can't resist the urge to teach. So I'm teaching you through a story this time. So I do have thought-provoking questions for you at the end of each chapter. What do you do if God has revealed your mate, yet it's not quite time to even date? Does your mate know that he's your mate? This comes up a lot. And I always say that when God is dealing with two people, he speaks to both of them. So if it's not quite time to date, why would God trouble you with that? He wouldn't. So I think that you need to revisit that and just be very prayerful and careful. Because the revelation usually comes within the relationship. It is the safest way to avoid being deceived. A lot of times when we're in certain seasons in our lives or certain situations, our heart is more vulnerable to hear things that can set us up for frustration later in life. And God doesn't work that way. He usually waits until it's time, and then he deals with that situation. So be very careful there. Thank you. Which pastors did you like? You're asking me about when will I bring on the pastors again? Which ones? Should you put a time frame on the time it takes to go from a friendship stage to exclusively dating? Well, make sure you've got all your information that leads you to conclude that you want to exclusively court. Okay. Now, I love that word court because, when you go to court, evidence has to be submitted and a verdict has to be reached. So even after the dating, which to me is just you're collecting data, you start to court. And the verdict is out because you're still gathering evidence based now on how they handle walking exclusively with you. Oh, Joel, Kervin, and the other one. Oh, Derek. Derek Triplett will be back with us on MMH Hangout. When? October. Yeah, Shanine is on in September, and Derek will be with us in October. First Saturday of the month, we always do MMH Hangout. And so he will be back with us in October. Oh, yes, Monique, to be perfectly honest. Okay, I'm just going to tell you a little bit of my business. So, before I moved to Ghana, I was dating someone and I thought they were it. They were ticking off all my boxes, Huh? I thought they were the one. I thought he was the one, whichever. She's questioning my English. This one, huh? Anyway, so, and it's so interesting. I'm just going to, I'm going to keep it real. I always keep it real with you. I enjoyed his company and he was really being my hero. It was a very vulnerable time in my life. I had just lost my father. I was trying to navigate through some very difficult things. I'd always been pampered when I came to Ghana, and now I had to navigate because he left me as executor of his stuff. And there were a lot of things I didn't know how to do. And this man was wonderful with all of that. He really was my hero in that hour. And I believe that God used him for that. Sometimes we don't see the purpose that God has put something in our lives and we misconstrue it for something else. So there were a couple of things that I probably should have paid attention to, but I didn't in the moment. It was working for me. Okay. That's all I can say. I'm human, even though I'm a teacher, but praise God that we learn from all the things that we do. And so, the courtship went on for about a year because I was flying back and forth between Ghana and the States. And I finally felt led to move to Ghana. So I moved. He came and he helped me move. And after I got here, he was acting a little different. And because I am a relationship expert, I did realize that his pattern had changed and that something was off. When I talked to him about it, he didn't want to own it. And so at that point, because I find nagging to be unattractive, I just sat back and watched because, once again, when you're in courtship, you gather your evidence before you determine your verdict. And one day I was standing in my bedroom and the Lord spoke to me very clearly and said, he is not it. Can you let him go? And I went, really? But he's really good to me. He does all these things for me, blah, 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 blah. And I said, wait a minute, why am I arguing with the Holy Ghost? So I said, Father, you know what? If he's not the one for me, I give you permission to take him out of my life. Because I don't want him to feel like, I used him for anything. He's been very good to me. I don't want him to feel like, I took advantage. Can you check on Coco to make sure she's not eating her stuff in her crate? I'm smelling. So anyway, to make a long story short, he started acting up after that, and I let it go. One day I just told him, I'll call you back, and I never called back. That's probably not. I will not recommend that as a way to break up with someone. But I was done, and he knew I was done. So yes, it was. So it just all ended. And to be perfectly honest, people were saying, are you sure you were in love with this person? Because you got over that fast. I was like, hey, you know what? When God says it, I do it. And I don't question. I move on. And I was very clear. I knew it was a word from God. And to be perfectly honest, after that, I found out a few unsavory things. And so, God was protecting me. We have to know that God is not restrictive. He's protective. And so when he says let something go, you need to trust him. And I'm hoping that you're intimate enough and close enough to God that you hear his voice clearly, you know it's him speaking to you, and that you instantly obey rather than second guessing and taking too long and then ending up having to suffer the consequence of a bad choice. He'll forgive you, but you're still stuck with the consequence. And so for me, it was about, Lord, I'm too old in the game to play around. If you told me to let go, I'm letting go. And you know what? When you obey God, he gives you peace. He gives you grace. The sting of loss is not felt because you've been obedient, and he gives you that grace. And so, mhm. Yeah. So, all you have to do, and I have to say that I have grown and progressed in this thing about relationships myself. And I just share with you what I've learned. And I've gone from, oh, the guy likes me, let me go for it because no one's talked to me in a while, to now I'm at the point where it's like when someone approaches me, I'm like, okay, God, tell me everything about this person because I don't have time to waste. I don't have time to waste. I don't have heart to waste. I don't have life to waste. Okay. I don't have mind to waste. Okay. I don't need to spend my days twirling and thinking about someone who's not worthy to consume that much of my time, my heart, my emotions, and my spirit energy. So, now I ask first. I don't wait and wait till later. I ask him right away, and I put my heart on pause till I have enough information. Okay. And when I've gathered my information, then I go, no, next. And I know that one day it will be the right person, okay, in the right season, because God does things. Let me tell you something about God. God is strategic. Anything he does, he's got a purpose attached to it. It's not just a willy-nilly thing of, let me just do this. No, 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 no. He has a purpose and a reason for everything that he does. And so when you look at life through that lens, you have to ask yourself some very critical questions when you go to do things or get involved in things. Is this taking me where God ultimately wants me to be? If it's off my path, then I know it's not something, there's an important word that we all need to learn to say, and that is no. Okay. What do you ask, Miss Michelle? What do you mean? Deborah, elaborate on that. What do you ask about what? Yeah. So I just want you to know that everything that comes into your life is attached to purpose. And so when you look at things in that light, if it's useful, you keep it. And if it's not useful, you discard it. So I believe that God used that man in my life to help me get to Ghana. He gave me a little bit of impetus. It helped to move to Ghana when I thought I was coming to get married. Okay. But after that, he said, you're here now, so I can remove that prop. I have you where I want you, and I'm going to take care of you, and you don't need him. Okay. I used him in a season to help you get where you are. But, that's it. So I had to accept that. And I've been fine. I've navigated life, and I have not looked back, and I haven't felt lonely. And God has filled my life with amazing people that surround me and support me. And so I never feel alone, to be perfectly honest. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to find a little spot alone every now and then. Okay. So, I think that it's all in how we approach life. All in, as like I used to say during COVID, the difference between saying you have to stay in isolation or you get to stay in isolation will now affect your approach to your isolation. I enjoyed isolation. I was like, oof, finally. I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to see anybody. Now I can sit and think and visualize, create, and come up with some new things, and just also have just some down quiet time for just me and Jesus. Oh, I was so excited. I found some great teachers online, Darius Daniels, David Pawson, and I just started soaking myself in the word of God and in good teaching and building myself up. I was literally glowing by the time the 7 months was over. I was in London for 7 months because the borders of Ghana were closed and I couldn't come home. I loved it. Okay. A lot of people were complaining, well, how do you deal with loneliness? I was like, you're lonely? I don't even have time to be lonely. I'm so busy entertaining myself in my space. And that brings me to my question. How much do you enjoy being with you? Because if you don't enjoy being with you, why should anybody else enjoy your company? Don't just be interested, be interesting. Your life should be the party that everyone wants to attend. Okay, which means you've got to be able to entertain yourself well. Okay, you should not be looking for someone to entertain you. If you're bored, it's because you're boring. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not trying to step on your toes or anything, but if you are bored, you are boring. It means that you don't yet know how to embrace your space and entertain yourself. And if you are in that place, the person that could entertain you is not going to stop to entertain you because you're going to be boring to them. Okay. And no one wants to feel the pressure of having to make your world come alive for you. It's too much work. And that's not what they were created and designed to do. Okay. So it is really, really important to simply get a life. If you're in that mode of going to work, going to church, and going home, you've got some self-examination to do. This weekend, as I told you, we did a paint and sip party. And a lot of people were just so intrigued with, who came up with this idea? This is great. This is so unusual. Well, Tega came up with the idea. She always comes up with all these great ideas. But the bottom line was it actually just opened up my world. It's like, yes, I could be painting. This is like something that I can be doing, like on my Sunday afternoons, because Sunday is like my me time. I go to church and then I come home and I take a nap, maybe get in the pool, read a good book, watch, something on, and then sometimes I've got a master class in the evenings, but it's late. But so I try to take that day to really be a real Sabbath. Okay. And that Sabbath is all about, letting yourself refresh, renew, restore, revive. You've got to take that downtime to just redo your engines, so it's really important that, no, it's not you being selfish, Deborah. We all need that time, God took a day off. If he took a day off, what do you think about yourself? We need the day off. We need that day to rejuvenate. The word says that if you'll turn your foot away from doing of your pleasure on the Sabbath, I will cause you to walk on the high places of the earth. Why? How does that happen? It happens because excellence is birthed out of rest. When you're tired, you can't be excellent. When you're on E, you can't be excellent. When he called them to have a Sabbath, let the land have a Sabbath rest, it was so the ground could rejuvenate itself and get more minerals and nutrients back into it so that the crops could continue to be sweet and wholesome and rich, right? So it needed that renewal time. And they kept planting and planting and planting. And you know what happened? They ended up going into bondage, and the Holy Ghost and Jesus and the Father did their arithmetic and said, 7 and 290 years is 40 years. Now the land will get the rest I told you to let it have. So we're going to rest by choice or rest by force. You can just go ahead and keep going and burn yourself out so that you get sick and then you're in bed because you have to be there, versus you choosing to have that time to renew yourself and rejuvenate yourself. That's my day. I do my face mask, I do my hair, it's the day for me. And it makes me better for everyone when I take that day. When I don't get that day, I'm a hot mess. I'm short-tempered. I have flare-ups. I'm impatient. Things don't go very well. So we all need to take that time for ourselves. The most important relationship next to God that you can have is the relationship you have with yourself. Someone's saying, any advice for a 26-year-old that's going abroad, Mauritius to be specific, to start life for the first time, all by herself? I've always lived with my parents and family. Well, Mauritius is beautiful, number one. I just had a friend who's been living there for several months. one day at a time. Learn the culture. I always tell people when they're coming from abroad, don't go assuming you know everything and that you know better than the folks that have been living there. The most obnoxious thing about people who visit Africa is those who think that they're more African than the Africans. They come and they're insulting, and they don't take the time to enjoy the full, rich experience they could have if they would just be silent and learn some things. These people have been over here for a long time, living and thriving, and most of them live better than people in the States. I'm just going to tell you. That's one of the myths about Africa that I want to destroy on MMH tours. That people in Africa live great, okay? I know that the media just shows you children with flies in their eyes. Mm-mm. There's a whole other side to Africa that's rather posh and chic. The height of fashion, amazing food, great music, so many things that are just things that are unexpected that the media doesn't share with you. So when you go, determined to learn the people, determined to learn their culture, and then adjust. There's a saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So don't go trying to inflict your stuff on them because they've been there living well for a long time. So go with a heart open to learn and experience, make new friends, and you always have to be careful. You have to be discerning about people and that you allow into your life. But, I would just always say that when you go somewhere, learn the culture, learn the people. Don't go in with an I know it all attitude or that you're doing them a favor by being there. They were okay before you showed up. Trust me. It's just something that I've noticed. You notice I'm a little sensitive about it, right? Because I live here and I have noticed this about people who come from the States sometimes, that they kind of got a little bit of an attitude. And African people are happy for you to come. They're like, come home. We want you to come and see where you came from. And it's so disappointing to them when you're rude and impatient and not nice. So when you go to a place, you show them the best of yourself. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Let me see. Okay. So basically, I think I've said everything that I want to say tonight. If anybody else wants to ask me another question, because it's after 10 p.m. here. What time is it where you are? Anything else I need to tell them, Tega?
No, sign up for Love You.
Okay, so we've been talking about relationships. I'm just been giving you nuggets from the actual class. Love You Masterclass is coming up the end of, okay. Yeah, so it's early where you are. It's late where I am. I'm going to go Betty bye so I can get up because tomorrow I'm going to see the first showing of the line of fashion that I've created. So I'm really excited about that. The MMH collection has been born unconstructed. Go with the flow is my first collection, and it will be out sometime in September as well. So I am off to deal with that tomorrow. Yeah, that's it for me. What are you doing tomorrow? That's what I'm doing tomorrow. But anyway, I want you to know that God loves you. And because he loves you, you are thoroughly loved. There should not be a valve empty in your love tank at all, because God's love really is sufficient. And everything else is icing on top of the cake and the cherry, okay? So never let someone else be the cake in your life. That cake will spoil because humans are bound to fail you at some point. And so your joy level, your peace level has to be contingent on something else, someone higher, someone who will not disappoint. God says he will never leave you or forsake you. And so I'm going to commit you into his hands tonight. I want to pray for you before I go, that your joy would be complete, that you would have the peace of God that passes all understanding, that you would walk and be surrounded by the love of God, that you would never feel unloved, that you would not feel lonely, because loneliness is a state of oneness. And as long as you are in intimate relationship with the Father, you're not alone. Adam didn't know he was alone. He was visited by God and surrounded by the things that God had placed in his life, with all his options available to experience the richest of fruits. And it was God who decided that it was time for Adam to have a mate. So when we're pressuring God, it means we're out of step, we're out of line, we're missing the moment, because literally God will decide when you need someone to be better than you already are. Remember, I said everything God does is attached to purpose. Okay, so remember that even a partner is there for a purpose other than your pleasure. You get pleasure out of the purpose being fulfilled, not the other way around. Let me say that again. Your pleasure comes out of being in purpose. Okay, so that's so funny. So, good night, everyone. Have a blessed evening. I will see you. What day are we coming back on? Thursday?
Yeah.
I'll be back on Thursday. Okay.
Also follow on Clubhouse because we have Clubhouse on Wednesday.
I'll be on Clubhouse on Wednesday at this same time, around the same time, which is 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So I will be on there. We'll have a discussion on Clubhouse for those of you who are Clubhouse people. And I will be back on here on Thursday night. Okay. God bless you. Love you. Think about what I said. Sign up for Love You Masterclass. Bye-bye.